Birthday, Aunt Nancy. This is Whit. Just wishing you the best on this really special day. And I wanted to say how beach in Pawleys Island. And way back when when I was dating Lindy, I remember how much it meant to spend an extra week at your beach house one summer at a time when I was struggling with some emotional issues, and how much it helped relax me, and how blessed and cared for I felt being able to be at your beach house. But then, since then, your condo has been a wonderful refuge and respite. And yeah, I remember the time when Amy and I were there after I finished my dissertation, and also many other special times, not the least of which have been times with my grandchildren, and being able to introduce them to Litchfield Beach through getting to use your condo has been a wonderful experience. And whether that's able to continue or not, I just want to thank you for how much that has meant to our family. You have always been a wonderful Southern lady with exquisite taste in decorating, an excellent cook, a brilliant person in conversation and hospitality, interested in so many causes and subjects, and so willing and able to take an interest in the lives of other people, to talk on their level about things that matter to them. And I've always felt you've been that kind of person to me. You've meant so much to me. Your interest after my marriage and my family and my children, and now my grandchildren, has just been wonderful. You've always made me feel encouraged about my job as an English professor, about my role as a husband and a father. As I've shared my life with you, I've always had an attentive, wise, encouraging, thoughtful listener. Even the time or two that I've been able to see you in your apartment, your most recent apartment there in Atlanta, I just am amazed at how beautiful it is, how beautifully decorated it is, how tasteful. It's yet another place that you have made a work of art and a refuge. And I just want to say how much of a positive influence you've been on my life. I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful 90th birthday and 91st year following it. And I hope to see you and hear your voice this coming year. And we just are very grateful as a family, Amy and I, to have known you. And I personally, as someone who's known you all my life, I am very grateful for the part you've played in my life. So God bless you. You've given me a great deal. May God give you a wonderful birthday and a wonderful coming year. God bless. Love you, Aunt Nancy. See you. With lights in the classroom, she's a facilitator. The rhyme was a little rough there. With life's a journey, she's a resting place and a guide. Seeking the best in the familiar and the rare, she beckons us to hear and see and share.
Nancy, happy birthday. I've been working on this, and Marianne's helping me. Marianne is my cinematographer. But what I've been thinking about was what a great long friendship we have had. And I got my best friend at Rich's, the one-stop store. I should have done a commercial years ago. But it's been such a great way to start off, because we had such a good time in so many ways. One of my favorite things was when you ordered up those bloodhounds from the Forsyth County Sheriff to celebrate and advertise the blood drive, so we could have lots of donors. And those two dogs, they were brought up before the store opened, and those two dogs dragged us all over that store with their tongues hanging out, drooling, and their fingernails sliding on the slick surfaces. It was absolutely incredible. It was hysterical. You can just think about all the aromas in that store, all the different people, all the things that were being sold, and what that must have done to their smelling mechanisms. They probably never recovered. Wait a minute. But I want to tell you that you are my teacher. You're the one that told me I wanted an Oriental rug. I didn't know about Oriental rugs. You're a confidant. All those coffee breaks where we discussed all our problems and all the problems of the world and our children. Well, we didn't have children then, but we had such a good time. And remember Jenna, what was her name, who always got a biscuit and bacon and jelly sandwich every morning with her coffee? Jenna, not McCullough, but something like that. But we were smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, and talking. It was such a good mid-morning activity. And then we had so many other good times. Remember the harvest sale at Richie's, when they had the Kerr Market out in front, and we bought sugar cane and all sorts of things we had absolutely no use for. But it was a really exciting event. Richie's did great things. It was a great store and a very inspiring place to be. Then we go to visits to Aunt Nene. We had a great time visiting Aunt Nene and living in that little house with pink everywhere and those brass doorknobs and those little bits of good things that she kept pulling out of her freezer that were in kind of a pint-sized container. And then Buddy and Ralph went with us one time, and we went to the races, and Aunt Nene had to sleep on the cot in the living room. And the last thing before we went to bed, we went in there to have a nightcap with Aunt Nene, and she had her hair in braids, and she had a little jigger full of bourbon that she sipped sitting up on that cot in her nightgown. That was such a special time. And then we went again, the two of us went, and we went to the trots. And we got in a box with those people from Michigan. They were from that town in Michigan where the cereal comes from. I can't remember the name of it. But they had a horse and buggy. I don't think you call it a trap. And they won. And we were in the box with them. We got to be friends. And so when their horse won, they insisted that we go down on the track with them and have our picture taken. And Aunt Nene was so tickled. She was so excited about being on the track, having her picture taken. I don't know how old she was then. She may have been about the same age we are. But now, maybe not quite that old. But those were good times. We had so many good times. Remember when we went to E River School? We snuck in before they announced what teachers the children had, and we sneaked in and looked at all the lists on the doors and found out where Fran and Marianne were going to be, what teachers they would have. And I've forgotten who Fran had. Marianne had Miss Johnson, who was scary, and I went to Miss Willoughby and said I didn't want my little girl to have that teacher. She was very sensitive and shy, and Miss Willoughby said, well, who do you want her to have? And I said, I want her to have that teacher who has a picture of a Snoopy on her door. And it was Ernestine Parker. That was a good thing I did. But we had so many good times, and when I think about it, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for you and all that you meant to me, and still mean to me, even though I don't see you much now. But all those years, you were such a great influence. You were just what I needed. You gave me confidence, and we just had a great time together. Oh, I forgot to talk about the Christmas parties. Your party and our dinner, that was so much fun. And it was so much happier because we had the Gould family with us. So I say, I want you to go for 95, and I'm going to try to follow you. I love you dearly. M.
Happy 90th birthday, Aunt Nancy. I hope you have a wonderful day and that y'all celebrate big. I was thinking about so many things in relation to you as I was thinking about what I would say. And I think one of the most important things is I have just felt so blessed to be your namesake. I am so proud to be named for such an accomplished, fun, wonderful lady, and I have carried that pride all my life being your namesake, and I'm tickled to death about that. But I have so many wonderful memories with you, too many to tell, but I had written down a few of them because I can't remember them all, and I wanted to be sure and talk to you about several of those. But I remember you were always so much fun. Anytime we came down to visit as children, you always had these fun activities planned for us. You'd take us to the pool and on picnics, and we would play in the neighborhood. And I remember one time having a slumber party in the garage next door. They had a room up top, and just so many fun memories every time we came to Atlanta, every time you came to Chattanooga. It was just always fun to be around you. I always think of you too as very accomplished. Your career to me was fascinating, and you were so accomplished in that career, did so many interesting things. You loved to learn all the time. You were always reading. You had just a wealth of knowledge and were so interesting to converse with. And I was just proud of all the things that you did. You also saved my reputation when I was in my freshman year of college, and saved and allowed me to get to do something I wouldn't have otherwise gotten to do, and that was you let me stay at your house when my sorority had the formal in Atlanta. So a lot of the girls were staying with their dates at the hotel, and Mom and Dad wanted me to stay with you, and y'all were so welcoming to me and made it possible for me to get to go on that adventure. You also, I don't know if you remember this, but helped me find an apartment in Atlanta. You scouted out great places and helped me find the right place, and it was a perfect location. And I appreciated all your help there. You had me over for a lot of dinners when I was in Atlanta too, and I think one time I even asked for some dating advice with Sam, and you gave me some great advice that I followed through on, so I appreciated that. Along the way, you gifted me with a couple of pieces of jewelry that had your name on it, and I still have those today and cherish those very much. I love, by the way, the julep cups that you gave me through the years. I use them for parties, and a lot of my friends like to borrow them. Everybody loves them, and it's really been fun to tell the story of how my Aunt Nancy gave those to me through the years, and something that I will cherish for many years to come. I think about the time when you took such good care of Dad and us when he had his bypass surgery, and we were scared and didn't know what to do, and you and Uncle Buddy got us in with the best doctors in Atlanta, and then took all of us, I think Whip, Mary, me, and I think I was married at the time, and David and Mom, and kept us all at your house, and just were a comfort and a support during that time. And I remember when you hosted all of us girls in the family at your house for the house party, and I still laugh when I think of poor Uncle Buddy being with both those babies for several hours while we went to dinner. But that was so much fun, and you were so sweet to get that all together. Something else that I think about is you have had the neatest friends and have the neatest friends. Everybody I've met that's connected with you is so much fun. I remember as a little girl being fascinated with Deanna across the street and her knowledge and love of antiques, and the Maddens were so welcoming to us when Fran got married and kept us at their home. And I remember going down to the farm at Madison. I can't remember the name of that family, but and meeting people at Fran's and Mary's weddings and parties, and you just always had the most fun, neat friends, and I thought that was so cool. The visits that you have made to Mom have just been absolutely wonderful for her. You've been just showered her with gifts and time, and it just has meant the world to us, and therefore has indirectly blessed all of us. And you're always so good about checking on her too, and Fran and Mary have been so wonderful to do things for her and come visit her as well. You have been so generous with your beach place. You know that's my happy place, and what a blessing it's been, the wonderful vacations and rest time that we've had from work over there, and just thank you for your generosity. I have loved all my visits with you over the past few years, although they haven't been very many, and I hope to increase that in the near future because I love coming and visiting with you. Words just cannot express how much I love you and how proud I am to be your namesake and your niece, and you have been such a blessing to me throughout my life, and a happy, happy birthday with much love. Love you. Enjoy the day.